Much of what we see now is not an ideological battle. It's certain politicians who, as you say, what is driving them is power, not ideology. And they are using divisive issues. You know, the way to gain power is to take a certain issue and politicize it. And they are searching for issues that can get people enraged, that can, and then harness this energy to get to power. So a lot of the issues that, you know, people are fighting over, if they were depoliticized, they could have been solved much more easily. But you take these issues and you turn them into these big ideological battles, and then nobody wants to back down, and becomes this tribal affair. And this is the way that these leaders ride to power. We see it so many times in history. It's really terrible. I think that the job of leaders should be actually to heal the community, to bring it together. And this is why also I think that, you know, many people today say that that we see the resurgence of nationalism all over the world. But actually, in much of the world, you see a crisis of nationalism and the resurgence of tribalism, of tearing nations into their components and destroying actually the national community. Like I said before, nationalism, when it is understood correctly, it's a force for good in the world. The basic kind of message of nationalism is the ability to care about people you don't know, which is amazing. You know, from a biological perspective, we are kind of programmed to care about a very small number of people that we know personally, our family, our friends, and to prefer them over everybody else. And the big task of nationalism is to come and say to us, no, there is a much larger community of people that you need to care about. So for instance, you take money away from your family and you give it to build a healthcare system, these are taxes, so that strange people that you never met in your life on the other side of the country, you'll never meet them, but because you're a good patriot and you care about them, you pay your taxes honestly so that they get some basic healthcare or education or a sewage system. And similarly, like you now, I don't know, you're a mayor or you're a prime minister or something, and you need to appoint somebody for a job, and you have two options. You have your cousin, which is not qualified at all, but he's your cousin, man. And you have like a very qualified person who is a stranger. Millions of years of evolution are screaming in your ear, are you an idiot? Give it to your cousin. But patriotism tells you no. You should give the job to the qualified person because they would do a better job for the community. And that's the good side of nationalism. And what we see now in many parts of the world is politicians who describe themselves as nationalists, but they are actually not trying to create harmony in the national community. They don't strengthen the national community. They tear it apart. They deliberately look for any crack, for any wound in kind of the national body. Hey, there's a problem. This is something that people don't agree on. And instead of trying to heal it, they kind of poke their finger into it and try to enlarge it as much as possible, to inflame it, because this is their ticket to power. And in this way, they destroy the national community and turn the nation into warring tribes. And then they place themselves at the head of one tribe and tell people, you have to follow me, otherwise the other tribe will destroy you. This is simply the will to power. It works. We see, unfortunately, in many parts of the world, we see that it is working. Instead of leaders who are trying to heal the national community, you see leaders that try to destroy it and get power by kind of leading just one tribe.